Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It looks like we've got a bit of a smaller group today. I know we've got another webinar going on right now as well. Kind of double booked them today, but that's okay.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be manning the chat here. My name's Braden. I'm an account executive at Vendasta. Logan's going to be chatting a lot about AI customization and the impact calculator today. I think it will be a great webinar for you guys to watch. I will be managing again any comments. I'll probably be fading away from the spotlight, but Logan looks a lot better anyway. So excited to chat with you guys today, and we'll go from there.
It's that sheen I get off this bald head. You know, it makes me seem like I'm glowing sometimes.
That definitely does it.
Awesome. So I'm going to give me 1 second here, and I will bring up my screen. We'll give people just a few more minutes to pop in. I saw a couple more come in. There we go. All right. Well, we can dive right in and get started here. Let me just share out my screen. Everybody should be able to see this now, I think. There we go. Awesome. So as Braden mentioned, my name is Logan Ohitwa. I think many of you probably recognize me from past Workflow Wednesdays. We've shifted it up a little bit this quarter, kind of trying to bring a few more faces in from around the company to host these sessions and help everybody out. But what I'm here to talk about today is really how you can quantify the impact of AI and also how to position AI in front of your customers as you're going to market. And then we're going to dive into a little bit of how to build custom agents within Vendasta's ecosystem. And I'll show you a few examples of this in flight as well, so that you can actually see these live and in action as well. So I'm going to, without further ado, run through a couple of quick slides here. As always, yes, we are recording this session. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat as we go, and you will be able to access this recording on both YouTube as well as in our content library at vendasta.com as well. Awesome. So I'm going to dive in here and away we go. So as many of you know, being Vendasta partners for some time now, or maybe for a long time, Vendasta started out by building SaaS applications. So our reputation management product was the first product that was ever fully released. From there, we built social media management software and communications technology like our Inbox Pro, and a whole slew of other SaaS applications. And when I talk to a lot of partners, a lot of small, medium businesses in particular are still a little bit wary about AI. They're interested, they want to get involved with it, but you have other people who kind of want to almost take a step back. They hear AI and it's almost like the boogeyman. It's this bad word that sort of scares them away from stuff. And so what I wanted to highlight is a bit of a talk track that I use when I'm talking to customers, especially if they're a little bit more AI wary. And that's just that all that our AI employees are is SaaS applications that we've given access to local business data and knowledge about. That's really all it is at the end of the day. Our reputation management product, give it a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of context and configuration, and it becomes this sort of autonomous agent that can actually manage the reputation for the business. Same idea with the social media product. We get this idea of an AI content creator, and then I think everybody here knows, our communications AI or conversations AI technology, turning into our AI receptionist and all the value that that can bring. And then one of the things that I often like to highlight with our partners and their end customers is that you can then take these AI employees, tie them into our existing automation system, and this allows us to solve these really complex sort of customer journeys in a really straightforward and pretty simplified way. So something that's going to allow you to kind of continuously solve problems for the business owner across a wide walk of life. And the nice thing about this is, if I go back a slide here, when we only had the SaaS applications, it was a little tough to really tie these things together, right? You could request and respond to a review, you could post and schedule the social media, and you could maybe handle some inbound communication from a client. But where these AI employees start to really change things is when we tie these into automations, we can have an AI employee that captures, that writes content, that generates a lead. We then have the receptionist capture that lead, and then we have the AI reputation specialist request a review based on the conversion of that lead. And I think that's something that's really important to highlight. That's really where the AI component of this steps in and really allows us to streamline these operations. The other thing that I really like to highlight for our partners is the difference between pre-configured and fully customizable. We have a saying at Vendasta, let the plumbers plumb. And really at the core of that saying is, people went into business to do the thing that they love. They didn't go into business to manage their social media and build their website and follow up and chase down voicemails and chats and notifications and request reviews and all of the other stuff that goes into building and maintaining a successful business. The plumber got into the business to plumb. And so we want to free them up and open them up to allow for them to do these things. And this is really where obviously as partners, you can bring a ton of value to the end customer. And so one thing that I think we've done exceptionally well here at Vendasta is build these out to be pre-configured. Anyone who's played around with our AI employees knows the AI receptionist can be ready to go in literally a matter of a few minutes from a brand new account all the way through to fully implemented. It can be even tied into automated workflows through some of our automation templates. The content AI and the reputation AI, same idea, just a matter of minutes and we can have these deployed and actually providing an impact for that end customer. But then we also left our partners and their customers with this concept of being able to fully customize these agents. And this is where, especially if you're curious, you're willing to put in a little bit of time and effort and learning into the AI side of the system, you can really start to build some pretty neat stuff. We can customize things like the objective of the agent or the personality. We can give it access to different knowledge, and we can even give them different skills and abilities. And I'll cover a few of those as we dive into a bit of a demonstration here today as well. As we normally do in these sessions, I want to kind of do two things. First, I'm going to introduce the AI Impact Calculator. Some of you may have seen this already, but for anyone who hasn't, I want to make sure that you get a chance to take a look at this because I think it is pretty important for you to be able to see what this looks like. And then the second thing is I'm going to dive into the platform itself, and we're going to actually show you how I took this non-white labeled AI Impact Calculator off of Vendasta's website and how I actually turned this into a custom agent within Vendasta's ecosystem that allows you to deploy chats to end customers, or where an end customer rather can have a chat and actually run through this process on their own and actually get qualified as a lead. So without further ado, I'm going to jump over to the Vendasta AI Impact Calculator. I am going to drop the link for this in the chat if anybody wants to take a look at it. But really what the idea behind this impact calculator is it was designed for our partners to be able to go behind the scenes, qualify some information from a client. So, hey, how many clients, how many people contact your business each week? Let's say that it's 20 people. And how many of those people contact, say this plumber after hours? Let's say that it's about 5 of those 20 people tend to come in after hours. And how quickly do they expect a response? Well, in the plumbing field, who knows, it could be a burst pipe or something that they need pretty quickly. So let's say that they expect an immediate response. And then from here, what's your average close rate? If you were to talk to 10 customers, how many of them actually convert? Let's say for plumbers, again, if people have done the research and they're actively looking for a plumber, it's going to be a relatively high close rate. Let's call that about 50%. And then the final thing is we're going to ask the customer, what is the average value of a customer for you? And so again, for a plumber, let's just choose a simple number. Let's say that that's $500. And then we can go ahead and hit calculate. And you can see here that the AI impacted revenue for a plumbing business that gets about 20 inbound leads a week and 5 of those leads coming in after hours is about $8,250 a week. I know that number seems crazy, but if you start to do the math on it, if you're able to just convert a few extra customers every week, it starts to lead to a ton of annualized revenue for the brand. Now, one of the things that we've heard from a lot of our partners is this tool is great. It's a fantastic way to highlight, value and how AI can impact, the end business. But one of the problems with this is obviously we're very forward that this is Vendasta here, right? It's not a white labeled page. You can't just send this URL to your customer and let them run through it on their own. So what I want to show you is how we've actually designed this so that you can deploy this to your end customers right within the platform itself. So bear with me here for 1 second, and I am going to bring up another tab. Awesome. And you should be able to see this now. So what I'm in here is I'm in Business App. You can see again our white label dashboard. And I'm in the AI workforce panel. Now, again, for just a quick recap, obviously you can add relevant knowledge, you can add relevant capabilities within the AI workforce. But what I want to highlight here is just the AI workforce itself. And in the top right-hand corner here, you'll see this create button. And this is going to allow you to go ahead and create a custom assistant or a custom agent. Now, when you go to create a new agent, you're going to be taken to a page that looks like this. You're going to be able to give the agent a name. You're going to give it a specific role. You're going to be able to give it a description. You're also going to be able to define the purpose of that agent and what generative model that you want it to use. Usually GPT 4.1 is going to be good enough. Scrolling a little further down, you're going to be able to open up capabilities for these agents, and you're going to give them be able to give them access to different knowledge as well. Now, what's really powerful, and I'm going to just delete this one to keep my demo account clean. What's really powerful that we've built from the AI impact calculator side is it's just simply a prompt within the purpose is actually all that we defined here. So I built out a prompt that trains the AI on how to actually guide a user through this set of steps. One thing that I do want to highlight, this is a newer feature on Vendasta's end, but you'll notice in the bottom left here of any of our agents, you can click view prompt, and you can actually see the entire prompt that's running every time this agent goes to work. So it highlights exactly what's going to be covered by the agent. If you need to make any tweaks or adjustments, this is a great place to look at. I'm not going to read through the entire purpose here, but it's going to, I think, showcase itself well here once I moved into the chat itself. So I'm going to jump down here into the chat section. And you'll notice here, I can start a new chat or configure right from this page. I'm going to say, let's say that again, you've passed this along to a client, you're giving them a free login to Business App. You can let them know that they can go into the AI workforce panel and just simply start a chat, or you can do this live with a customer out of your own demo environment or your own account. So I'm a legal firm, so I'm going to just say I'm working with a legal firm with 25 employees. They want to know how AI can impact their business. And what the AI impact calculator is going to do here is it's going to guide the user, whether it's you doing it on behalf of a customer or whether it's the customer doing it on their own, it's going to guide them through a few quick questions. So how many people reach out to the legal firm from form fills, inbound phone calls, chats on a weekly or a monthly basis? Let's say it's 50 people per month. The next step is the calculator is going to come back and ask, awesome, how many of those reach out after hours? So I'll say about 20%. Oops. I said $20, but it's going to know what I meant. Good old AI, it's pretty good at figuring this stuff out. Hopefully, anyway. Come on. Nothing like a live demo where you make a typo. There we go. So yeah, you can see it got a little confused. It was trying to do a little bit of digging. Again, it's going to ask, hey, how quickly do they expect a response? Usually within a day. Awesome. What percentage do you close? Let's say it's about 15%, 15 to 20%. And then finally, it's going to ask the value of a customer. We bill $500 one time, then usually about 10 billable hours at $250 per hour per client. Awesome. So while this is doing the final calculation here, I want to highlight one key thing. Again, I've built this so that it lives within Business App and that you can share this with an end customer. But many of you have probably already deployed our AI receptionist to your website. I'm going to show you in a moment how you can actually deploy this as a feature within your AI receptionist as well. But you can see here, the AI impact calculator has come back and said, hey, to summarize, you get about 50 contacts per month and 20% of them reach out after hours. They expect a response within a day. Your close rate's about 15 to 20%, and your average revenue per new client is roughly about $3,000, a one-time fee plus 10 hours at $250 an hour. Your results are in. Based on these numbers, an AI receptionist could bring you approximately 2 to 3 extra paying customers per month and generate about $6,000 to $9,000 in additional monthly revenue. It then goes on to say, this estimate is based on industry research and a bunch of data behind the scenes. Would you like to try any different numbers or have any other questions about how AI could help? How would AI be used within my legal firm? So you can actually ask it a few additional questions around the why and scoping out what can it do, what can't it do, et cetera, et cetera. And again, in this case, because it's a legal firm, I'm going to front run the AI a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it's going to say things. Yeah, it's going to help with client intake. It's going to help with document review. It can help with your legal research, contract drafting and automation, billing and time tracking, and then client communication. So again, obviously, AI receptionist and client intake and client communication, these are pre-configured within the AI receptionist already. But you can imagine you could go ahead and create a custom AI employee that helps the legal firm review and analyze documents, do research, help them draft out paperwork as part of an automated workflow, or even track time or billing as well. So again, I want to really open your eyes here to the flexibility and the types of agents that can actually be built out within the system here today. Now, I mentioned one of the things that you can also do is not only can this be created as a custom assistant with the AI impact calculator here, but you could also take this prompt that I fed to the AI agent, and you can also go ahead and simply create this as a custom capability. So if I go ahead and click create capability, all I have to do is take that prompt that I've built. This capability allows any AI employee to leverage the AI impact calculator and highlight how much AI will impact the bottom line customer based on their business data. And then we can just go ahead and call this AI impact calculator. Now, again, if I go ahead and save this capability, you'll see it's added within the system here. And I got to refresh so that it actually loads. Oh, no, I did see it right here. So AI impact calculator. Now, from here, we can actually go into the AI workforce. And let's say that we, as a partner, want to deploy this as part of our AI receptionist. We can simply configure that AI receptionist. We can go down to capabilities, and we can simply add the AI impact calculator capability, and give it access to that, that set of knowledge or that set of steps. So now anytime a customer comes in and they're chatting with your AI receptionist, they're trying to learn more about your business and what you do, and they maybe ask, I don't know, how would AI really help my business? It can say, hey, well, let's run an assessment on you here. Why don't we check how much of an impact AI could make for you? Tell me a bit more about your business. And it's going to carry them through that lead qualification process and actually help support getting that information across as well. So again, hopefully this opens your eyes into, you know, how you might be able to leverage these custom capabilities or these custom agents on their own to actually deploy as part of the agent. One of the other things that I want to highlight, I don't think we've fully released this yet, but giving you guys a little bit of a sneak peek onto where we're heading. Right now, you can embed and take our AI receptionist and put it on your website using that little snippet of JavaScript code or using the WordPress plugin that we've built. We are opening up the ability to take any custom agent that you've developed and also deploy it to a website and act just like the chat receptionist would. You can think through some of the implications of this. One of them is you can use your AI receptionist to capture leads on your main website, but maybe you want to have a support page on your website or a separate standalone landing page for support purposes. You can have a completely separate agent trained on completely separate knowledge that an end customer can land on. Similarly, you might have a landing page for the AI impact calculator. Again, where a customer, similar to Vendasta's landing page here, where a customer lands on and it just has a chat that they can engage with, text back and forth, call into, or engage with the web chat and get some, and actually run through that AI impact calculation as well. So that's, like I said, at a high level, one of the things that I wanted to showcase in terms of custom development that we've built out. I'll take a pause there and see if anybody has any questions. And then if not, we're good on time here still. So I want to show one other sneak peek of another custom agent that we've been working on behind the scenes that hopefully gets the juices flowing as well. Yes, Clint, great question on sharing the prompt. Let me literally build that right now, and I will share it live. I'll share a link, AI impact calculator. All right, I think I've got this, yes. And I'm gonna share, anyone with the link can access this. And I would ask, I've set it up so it's viewer only. So obviously, if you wanna make any tweaks or edits, go ahead and just make a copy of it. But that document should allow anybody to get into there and use that prompt as well. Now, the second thing that I want to highlight for everybody on the call here today is a very different type of agent that we've been working on behind the scenes. And I'm giving you guys very much a sneak peek because this is not ready for prime time yet. But that's the whole point of Workflow Wednesday, is to give you guys some insights into what's coming next. So what I want to show you here is a pretty cool agent I've been developing behind the scenes. We talk to a lot of our partners, and one of the pain points that they run into is they know how powerful our AI systems are. They know how powerful it can be to connect or integrate third-party systems, but they don't always know how to go ahead and integrate those third-party systems. They've maybe never done an integration before. They've never worked with APIs or webhooks, and they're trying to figure out how to do so. So what I've actually built out here is a, oh, hang on, I'm in the wrong account. Give me 1 second. I should have known that. Give me one moment here. But as I'm bringing this up, there we go. We have built an internal agent that allows you to get help, or that helps you with integrating third-party systems. So you can see here, we've actually got a bunch of custom assistants. This is internal to Vendasta, but we've got one called Pepper. This is our HR and our internal sort of support agent. We've got Wayfinder, which is one of our learning assistants. We've got Neura, which is a kind of an orchestration assistant. And then I've built one out here for AI integration architecture. So I'm going to go in here and again, configure this agent. You'll see this one has quite a bit of stuff. It's got a deep description. It's got a pretty built out and refined prompt, and it's got a couple of capabilities and a whole bunch of different knowledge sources that I've trained it on. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on how I actually designed this, but what I want to show you is what this does in practice. So I'm going to come in here and go ahead and start a chat. Curious from people in the room, any sort of third-party system that your clients have asked you to integrate against. That could be, you know, Shopify or WooCommerce or anything where, you know, Calendly, anything where the AI receptionist, it would be beneficial to have it tie into a third-party system. If anyone wants to drop one in the chat, I can do a live example. If not, I can pick one from a repository on my end here as well. Okay, perfect. Clint brought up Calendly. So I can just go into here and say, I need help integrating Calendly. Now what the integration architect is going to do here is it's going to start off by asking me just a few questions. And I'll just give this a second to load up here. This one does move a little bit slower because it's a pretty deep prompt that I've built. But it's going to say here, hey, great, let's take a look at how to do this. First, let's classify this integration. Calendly appointments are usually synced as events or tasks in Vendasta. And Vendasta doesn't have a direct bookings API, but you can use the automations or Conversations AI to go ahead and do that. Typical flow, when somebody books a meeting via Calendly, it sends a webhook to trigger an automation on our end. Calendly webhook, yada, yada, yada. Now I'm going to clarify here. Actually, I want to allow customers to book Calendly appointments through the AI receptionist. And so it's going to clarify a little bit here. Again, it made a little bit of an assumption off the start that we're trying to trigger an automation off of a Calendly event being completed or being booked. I would assume, Clint, correct me if I'm wrong, but the plan would more so be that somebody can book into Calendly using Conversations AI. I might be wrong. But again, it's going to give a summary here. Hey, your goal is to allow Vendasta's AI receptionist to book appointments into Calendly on behalf of a customer through the chat. This is a custom capability integration. It uses Conversations AI as the SaaS application. And the AI is going to be able to search available time slots, and then it's going to be able to book an appointment when a customer confirms. Typical flow, customer asks to book a meeting. The AI receptionist fetches available slots. It's then going to offer available times, lets the customer pick, and then book the meeting. And then it's going to confirm that booking in the chat. So this is a 3-step plan it's going to break down for us. We're going to add the custom capability with the tool list available times and the tool book appointment. It's going to go ahead and map the Conversations AI back to the tool parameters, and then it's going to test. We'll go through and actually test a conversation end to end to make sure that this works. It's then going to ask, hey, before we proceed, would you like a full guide right out of the gate, or do you want to go through this step by step? And are you a beginner or are you more experienced? The reason I ask these questions at the end is sometimes it's a developer coming in and they just want a quick guide with the documentation for that particular software. So they want the full guide and they're more advanced. In this case, I'm going to say I'm a beginner. I've never worked with APIs before. Assume I know nothing. Let's go step by step. And this is where it gets, pretty powerful. And again, this one unfortunately takes quite a bit of time because it's doing some pretty deep stuff behind the scenes. While this is loading, I want to highlight one, I guess, Okay, here, it loaded, so I'll save that for a second from now. So, okay, perfect. Let's guide you through this step by step. First of all, let's understand the basics. APIs let computers talk to each other. The Calendly API lets us check for available meeting times and book appointments. Vendasta's Conversations AI can use tools to talk to Calendly through these APIs. So we're going to create a list available times tool and a book appointments tool. These will live inside a capability on Vendasta's end that connects to the AI receptionist. So just to take a step back on this, what it's telling you here is there will be a capability that has a set of tools, and that capability is going to be connected to the AI receptionist in its most simple terms. Step 2, let's find the right Calendly endpoints. So we need to find the exact commands, which are called endpoints, for listing the available times and booking an appointment. I'll show you how to find these on Calendly's developer website, or I can provide sample requests that you can adapt. And then step 3 is we're going to build and test these tools. Where would you like to start? Do you want to learn how to find the Calendly APIs, or do you want me to give you a sample request? Let's get the Calendly APIs. Now, this actually segues really nicely into what I was going to say a moment ago. One of the reasons that we haven't fully released this yet publicly is because our AI employees don't yet have the capability to search the web. That is something that is actually really cool. We're working on behind the scenes, where we'll be able to actually go in and the AI will be able to go to developers.calendly.com, read through all of that documentation, pull forward what it needs, and then say, I checked the documentation for you, Clint, and here's what you need to do to integrate the two tools. In this case, because the agent doesn't have access to the web, this is one of the things that is a bit of a gap, admittedly, in the tool. You have to actually go into here, go to developers.calendly.com, and it's going to say, hey, you're going to look for endpoints that talk about get available time or book a meeting or create an event or something along those lines. Take the example request from their documentation and bring back that example here, and then I'll tell you how to set it up. Now, it's also going to highlight API keys should always be kept safe. Never share a real API key here. Just use a placeholder so that you're not giving away, information that basically is like a password in the chat itself. Now, if I go over to the Calendly documentation, we can go into the docs themselves and we can see all of the different things within here, right? So we can see view availability data, for example, on the left-hand side. So I can go into here. This is going to highlight and explain to us how we can actually connect or look up the different API calls in the system. Again, just to highlight for you, Clint, and everybody else on the call for that matter, the plan is to get this agent to the point where it actually reads through this documentation for you and comes back with the endpoints that you need to call. In this case, we'll go like this. We'll pull in the documentation for event type available times. One thing I should highlight for Calendly as well. So this is the information. So I would literally just copy this. Sorry, this right here. I'll copy the CURL on the right-hand side, and I'll jump back into the AI employee. I'll say, here's an example. And then the AI is going to review this, and it's basically going to determine, whether or not this will solve the problem or do what we need it to do. I will tell you, Calendly in particular, I should have maybe mentioned right at the get-go, but they are unique in the sense that they actually lock some of these features behind a paid account. So the only thing you can do on a free Calendly account is share a URL to book an appointment. In order to actually tie into these APIs, so that the customer would actually have to have a paid Calendly account. It's just something that Calendly requires. So we could build this, but you wouldn't be able to get the API key unless your customer actually had a paid account. But you can see here, awesome, you've pasted in a Calendly API example for listing available times. Let's break this down step by step. So first of all, what is a CURL? It's basically just a set of text that you can feed into a computer to tell it what type of API call you're trying to make. So you can see that the parameters in the URL are the event type, the start time, and the end time. It's then going to go ahead and say, do you have your Calendly API key? I'm going to just lie here and say, yes, I have a key. Let's move on to building the tool. And now what it's going to do is actually one of two things. It's either going to give me a C URL that I can just copy and paste in as a tool for the AI employee, or I can ask it to give me a step-by-step guide on how to build out every single piece of content. So you can see here, I'm going to open this just in a separate tab here quickly. Oops. So if I open up a capability and I go to add a tool, I'm actually, sorry, I'm going to do this in just a demo. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to do this in a demo environment so that I don't blow anything up on the other page. But when I go in to create a capability, you'll see there's this option here at the bottom to add a tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click create a new tool. And then if I go back into the agent, it's telling me step by step. The tool name is list Calendly available times. You'll notice it does not let you have spaces in the name if I tried to save this. So I'm going to just adjust this to list Calendly available times. The description, again, I can copy and paste from here. It retrieves available appointment slots for Calendly. It is a GET request, and this is the URL that we want to call into. So we're using a GET request, and we're going to call into this URL. It's then going to give me the headers. So the first one is an authorization header. You can also add a common header here, just so you know. So you can use the authorization one. And we'll want to put in the bearer token and the API key. I'm going to just leave this as a placeholder for now. And then we need a content type of application in JSON, which is, again, a really common one. So I can just add that common header so that I don't have to do a bunch of extra work. And then I can go ahead and build the parameters. So we've got the event type, which is a query, a string, it is required, and then it's got a description here, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So when I click to add a parameter, we've got the parameter key. We've got the type is a query, and it's a string. So we look at query and string, it is required. So we check off that box. And then the description is the Calendly event type URL, and then it actually takes all this information. This is basically just telling the AI system how to act on this data. We would then add the other parameters here. So the start time and the end time, again, queries and strings. So I'm going to just take this and add it in. Start time, query, and that, and then end time. And it's a query. These are also required. And we take this last little bit of text here from the description as well. And once this is done, in theory, if I actually had an API key here, and I actually had the meeting type that I was looking for, I would be able to save this as a tool. I'd be able to add the capability to the receptionist, and it should be able to be tested and actually run the automations through this. So yeah, this is, again, just an example of a custom agent that's being built on Vendasta's end. This is not, it doesn't require any of our SaaS applications. It doesn't require Conversations AI or any other tools. You're just simply using our knowledge base, the capabilities, and this AI workforce to actually deploy an agent that is pretty powerful. Now, I did build a version of this in ChatGPT. Unfortunately, it's not publicly available right now. It's available for our internal staff to use as we look at migrating it into the platform so that all partners can use it. But I will look at seeing what I can do to maybe open that up to partners of all shapes and sizes, just so that you guys can play around with it and use it through ChatGPT for free. But again, this hopefully will help in the future make these deployments that much quicker and easier. Once it's set up, the capability is built, and you can deploy that to any of your customers with ease. You don't have to kind of keep reinventing the wheel. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of everything that I had for today. I don't know if anybody in the chat has any other questions. I'd be more than happy to address them. And I think Braden did share this in the channel as well. But please feel free. There's actually a post I did not too long ago on LinkedIn that actually has another agent that you guys might be interested in. But I'll just simply drop the link in the chat here as well. This here is a custom GPT that I've built that's publicly available for anybody who wants to use it. This is a prompt refinement tool. So if you're looking to build a custom agent in Vendasta's system and you're trying to figure out how to prompt it to do what you want it to do, you can just come into here and click Help Me Build or Refine a Prompt, and it's going to actually guide you through what builds a good prompt. Just let it know that you're trying to build a prompt to train an AI employee or an AI agent, what your goal is, what your objective is, what it should be able to do for you. And this is going to actually help you design that prompt so that you can build a custom agent and use it for your own internal business as well. But yeah, that should be everything. If anybody has any other questions, by all means, feel free to reach on out. But if not, we can wrap up here a few minutes early and let everybody get on with their day. Looks like we're in the clear. Anything to add from oh, awesome. Yeah, Clint said he's used it quite a bit in the past. Great for finding bugs with conflicting prompts. Yeah, great point, Clint. I will work on, like I said, getting that AI integration assistant deployed. I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't know, Braden, you could probably chime in on this as well, but like, I know, we've been hosting these Workflow Wednesdays for almost a year now, I think it is. And, at the surface, me, Dakota, and Alistair, the group that kind of initially started this, Alistair is super technical. I don't think anybody will beat around a bush on that. He knows his stuff inside and out. He has a background in computer science. I would say I'm kind of mid-range technical. I also have a degree in engineering. I've done a lot of this stuff in the past, but if you would have asked me a year ago if I'd ever worked with APIs, I couldn't have really even told you what an API was. A lot of this came from curiosity, building prompts, leveraging some of these tools to deploy automations and build these things out. And I think, Braden, you can back me up on this, but same thing, some curiosity on your side has allowed you to build some really cool automated workflows and some custom agents, not only in the Vendasta ecosystem, but just in ChatGPT directly as well. Hey.
Yeah, I think like everybody here knows, you guys signed up for this webinar, so everybody knows this is where the world's going. There's like definitely things changing online, and the way automations are built and integrations are built are going to get a lot easier for people who maybe aren't as technically savvy, which I could say I was definitely one of those. It was actually Logan that sparked my interest in this stuff because he started building some pretty cool stuff that I was very intrigued by. So I started trying to build some things with just Chat GPT and Gemini, and then implementing those through our system through these capabilities and tools. It makes it a lot easier when the tools are available to you. Now, if you guys are partners of Vendasta already, which I think for the most part everybody here is, you have these tools available to you. And I think Logan did a great job of just showing you how to do it. You're going to see things like if you are using Conversations AI, and if you are, it's in beta right now, but the sales assistant is available to a lot of trusted testers. You can do some things on these calls where you can prompt the GPT or the agent to come up with an email for you after the call, to take that transcript and maybe give you some notes on how you could have done better, which is already pre-programmed into it. But maybe you want to take it a step further and take notes and update all the custom fields in the CRM, so you don't have to guess things moving forward. Well, you can do that with a lot of these tools. And I think the more curiosity people have around this, you guys are business owners, so you guys are like leading the charge on a lot of this stuff. Um, you're going to find ways to use these tools to better your business, and truthfully, you can apply this across everything, so not just your business. But I know Logan's built some pretty cool apps here, where you can actually get in and take pictures of food and it'll calorie track for you, like things like that, right? You can, if you're curious, you can build it. So
yeah, and I think that's like one of the things that I really want to highlight. Like I said, I've talked about this a lot, but Josh Baker, who runs our Conversations AI program and project team here at Vendasta, he said something about it about a year ago that really kind of changed my outlook on AI. We were at an event and he was speaking on stage, and somebody asked the question, "How do you find and acquire the best AI talent for your company?" And Josh said something that really stood out. He said, I don't want to hire the best AI talent. I want to hire the most curious people, because there is no such thing as AI talent. This is all only 2 years old. Nobody is that far ahead of anybody else. What I want is the person who's curious and is going to play around and experiment and try stuff. And you'd be shocked at how quickly, if you just describe to GPT or to our internal agents what you need them to do, they'll help you build themselves. It's a really empowering thing. It's quite exciting. So again, one of my hopes out of the presentation today is to really spark the ideas in your mind. I showed a few different examples here. I showed one of, building out a tool that can help a client determine the ROI that AI can apply for them. We showed some that are just direct integrations, support agents, HR agents, but then we've also even got one that can actually help iterate and build your own technical integrations as well. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff that can be done with these. Obviously play around with this. Let us know. We're always looking forward to hearing from people in the community what you're trying to build, what's working and what's not. And then Bill actually asked the question in the chat, and I do want to speak to this just really quickly as well, around, does Vendasta offer any sort of done for you automation services? And it's a great question, Bill. We are getting there. So one that we have is the AI receptionist setup. This is a SKU that is relatively new, but this is where our team will set up and integrate the AI receptionist into the business's operations. Now, I would say this is pretty darn flexible and scalable. One thing I will highlight, though, is this is leveraging a little bit more of the Vendasta tech stack. So we're not necessarily going out and integrating against Calendly in this case, as an example. But then the other one that we're looking at here, and oh gosh, I'm going to have to remember what the name of the SKU is now. What did we call it? I'm going to have to find it for you, Bill. I don't want to waste a bunch of time on the call, but I was just scrolling through our marketplace the other day, and I noticed that there was a new SKU that our marketing services team was testing, that actually is a little bit more of like a custom build out or a custom integration. It is coming very soon. We've actually resourced and sourced an entire team who that is what their core focus is going to be. It's going to be the Vendasta services team, and they're going to be able to come in and actually help deploy these AI agents and systems for you guys as well, for basically like an hourly charge. They'll scope out the project, and then they'll tell you how many hours we anticipate that work is going to be, and then we'll be able to deploy for you as well. And I can't seem to find it in here, so I'll have to do a bit of digging. It might have been in a different account. We don't always have all the products active on every account. Sometimes we're building them out in internal testing environments. But long story short, yes, we are working on this. It's going to be a core focus for Vendasta moving forward, where we really want to cut down barriers and really empower you guys to take this to market more effectively for your customers. But yeah, with that all being said, we can kind of let everybody get on to the rest of their day. Appreciate everybody for joining us here today. And as always, excited to hear what you guys are building, and look forward to the next session. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.